Welcome back on my channel. Today again we are in nature, as you see, because I decided to go outside and test Polyend Tracker Mini, what it can, what it can't, test screen brightness, built-in microphone quality, and all that useful stuff that you can use basically backpacking. So as soon as I will get home, I will combine materials and start working on full review and comparison with Polyend Tracker OG, including version 1.7. That will be it. But for now I will stick around for a little bit longer and make some music. Yeah. And we're back in the studio. So tonight I would like to focus mostly on Polyend Tracker update version 1.7, and then I will jump to Polyend Tracker Mini because they are very similar with few trade-offs, obviously. But there's a lot to unpack, and I even have some notes. Made some notes just to not get too confused, too lost with it. And let's jump straight to it. So let's open a new project, old project basically. And I was playing with it a little bit. I have Grouchy program, 90 BPMs. I didn't name it, it named it itself. But as you see, we have recent and all list of recent projects that I was working on. So let's open this one. Don't save. So that's the first new addition. It's more color coded and you can create even folders for it. Like you can create folder and make entire album basically on Polyend Tracker. So we have my pattern here. It's very light, chilly. Nice track. I'm working on it. You have, as you see, song already created. And according to website, Polyend website, that's one of additions. Then you can change BPM on the fly while on song mode. To be honest, I don't remember if it was before or not, but that's what they said. So let's go to sample playback and maybe sample editor, because in addition there's compressor here, improved compressor, limiter, and extra equalizer for instruments. So not only we have EQ for master, but also for instruments, which is great as always. You can't go wrong with 3-band EQ with many options. So I'm picking bass. Let's increase lows. Let's go a little bit in sub territory. Maybe 32. Low weak, let's keep it. Mid dB minus, let's go 4, around 4, somewhere around 4. Another page, we have mid frequencies. Let's drop to around 400. Let's get rid of that mud. And highs, let's keep a highs. Mid width, a little bit more narrow. Mid width is basically Q. Preview. Sounds nice. Okay, I like this bass. Apply. A little bit like clearer. Let's go to limiter. Limiter has threshold, attack, release, standard, very standard, and compressor as well. Let's go to threshold, maybe 16, ratio 3, attack, let's go to 35, and release somewhere around 200 something. For bass will be longer. It's not that long. Preview. A little bit of snappiness. Nice sounding bass. So that's my bass. Let's go to another thing. what was here? EQ compressor limiter saturation mode. So we have another thing, great thing is saturation options for master effects. So if I play pattern, we have hard clip, soft clip, saturate, gives it a little bit more brightness, overdrive. And drive plus. Which is total destruction of my track, but can be useful. That's another thing, great addition. So we have almost complete master with limiter EQ, with sidechain, compressor, sorry. And let's go a little bit further. We have a headroom. So see, I need the notes sometimes. Let's go to headroom, extra headroom. I'm playing my sound. Let's go with master, a little bit louder, and change it to extra headroom. A little bit quieter, it gives me more space, almost like increasing dynamic range, like jumping from 16 to 24 beats, for example, audio. It's not the same, obviously. I'm just like comparing it, referring what it can do, so tracks not biting each other too much. I have more headroom, that's what it is. A little bit quieter, a little bit more settled to fine gain stage it and whatever. So snap to 0, another option. Not picking. Let's change pattern to something more. Okay. And I'm going to sample playback this time. And I won't use this sound, I just want to demonstrate something. Synth, maybe this one. Or maybe this one. So I have this synth, yes? And I want to chop it. So play mode, beat slice. Or slice, just slice. Add slice, that's my slice. Adjust. And it plays from this moment. But as you see, line is red. Hopefully you can see it. Line is red. That means that if I add another slice or start from this point, it may give me some clicks or other things, some artifacts. So if I want to get rid of it, make sure that it won't happen, I'm going to snap to 0. And now I'm scrolling through my sample. Like zoom it a little bit. And adjust. So it will find for me 0 position. Hopefully it will find, because it's bass, so it might be hard. Do we have 0 position here at all? Maybe this one is not the best example. Let's find another one. This one. No, not granular. Slice. Add slice. And here we have it. Like, just for example. So I can add slice here. That's another one here. And if I zoom in completely, it will basically finding for me 0 position. It's just good for a reference. Don't have to use it if you know how to get around it with envelope, for example. You get the point. So that's another thing. And one more thing, as we are on the instrument page, let's go to instrument synthesizer. So that's another addition, and it's amazing in my opinion, because I can turn every sound from my project into a synthesizer basically with MIDI controller. So I have a synth here, and I have connected a keyboard, small keyboard, Roland A01, with some presets that I can save. So I'm playing it through MIDI keyboard now. And you have mapped all CC parameters here. For example, overdrive is at number 12, sorry. Number, that's if, let's go with 5, for example, tune. So that will be my pitch. So we can use granular or whatever for it, maybe some wavetable. I didn't try it yet, but probably it's possible. Let's set some 14, that will be reverb and delay. Reverb and delay. On the first glance, it's ticking all the boxes. So, volume sustained, for example, there's tons of options, but that's a great another addition to it. Honestly, I'm very happy with this update, especially if Polyend already announced that they will work on 1.8, and they should, because this one is buggy. I already encountered some bugs here, and I didn't spend too much time because I was working. That's why my review is also so delayed. But let's move now to Polyend Tracker Mini. So, and I will do something extra to it. I will connect MIDI keyboard. No, I will hook them up together. So, just for fun. So we have my project, and here's another project. I think it's different. So I will go through many as well, because there's small differences with workflow. So I have many buttons here, and I can just scroll through it. As you see, mixer with few pages, instrument with few pages, everything basically the same, but I have shortcuts that I can assign as however I want. So I have basically 8 shortcuts with those 4 buttons plus shift. So on button 1 I have, for example, pattern, yes? That's my pattern. Simple, because I will just experimenting with it. Shift 1 is my song mode, going back by pressing 1. Pressing 2 is my sample edit, again same different page. So that's my envelopes, and that's my page 1. Shift 2 is sample loader. Number 3 is sample playback. Shift and 3 is sample editor. And 4 is my master. With Shift 4 is my performance mode. So that's how I assigned it. Because, for example, if I want to record some sample, I just go here, and I am on a record sample page. If I want to go somewhere else, for example, back to pattern, go to song, and from song I want to loop it, and then just go to performance mode and go back to song, to pattern. Shift mute them, for example. So that's the biggest difference between those two. And let's address elephant in the room. No live recording, only through MIDI. So that will be it. I know it's a bummer, but understandable. So you can't have it all, yes? Maybe you could, but not in this version. So I'll just present how you can lay down some sounds. Maybe I could use MIDI and just present it on using MIDI, because now I have connected Polyend Tracker with Polyend Tracker MIDI through MIDI. Let's go to channel 10. Why not? Let's go to channel 10. We are on channel 10, and let's go to configuration settings on MIDI, and I will change clock from internal to MIDI jack, transport to MIDI jack, and that will be it. And as you see on first page here, when you have configurations on OG Tracker, you have scales. You can pick a scale, you can pick pad root node for it, because obviously you have those lovely pads, and here you don't have it at all. So there's a just different technique of doing it. Let's go back to pattern. Did I connect it? Okay, now let's go through MIDI out. I was on MIDI in. So those are two different projects playing all together. But another thing with configuration, with MIDI, that's another thing that is new. I almost forgot. Clock sync correction. So you can change clock sync correction from -6 to +6, or keep it at 0. Just in case your clock will be too slow, too fast, depends of latency. So why I don't have my preset here? What's going on? Per project, performance preset global. Is it gone? No, we got it. So it's in memory. I just find out that it's in memory, my old presets global, and per project you can switch between them and global will stay there. That's brilliant. So we have performance mode is obviously different as well, because you have those spots here, and here on performance mode you have to jump between them like scroll, and then you're using those force just to engage whatever you want. As you see, screen is also much smaller, but contrast is better and act better in direct sunlight, I would say, because I was testing it in direct sunlight outside. On maximum brightness is very good, on medium is a little bit less, but you know how you need to preserve battery sometimes as well. It depends. It all depends. So I want to record some pattern here. For example, I'm on instrument, that's my MIDI 10, and let's pick a sound instrument. I can go here by 10, for example, by increments of 10 or by 1. And let's go to keys, another set of keys. on track 5. Yes. So I'm playing on my OG now keys from Polyend Tracker Mini. Obviously in scale, I think. And to record it, I press record. Not like this. So record and live recording from external clock. And we're going. I maybe mute those so they won't distract me. I need to have this track open on loudness because I'm recording basically using channel 10 MIDI to transfer it, otherwise it would be mute. Nice, like it. Let's go to instrument, this keys. Sounds great. So that's how you can live record. Otherwise you would have to use, for example, record, and if you go minus, that's fade, cut and off, and up you start from C5. You can change it to C4 or whatever, but that's how it works for now. And big plus is octave higher, minus plus is octave lower, and small plus and minus are just by notes. So that's how it works. Delayed. And I can use old technique, for example, like step jump to 5, but then I'm laying down note and pressing this middle button just to lay down another one. Yeah, so that's how it works. And another great thing about Polyend Tracker Mini, it can work with stereo samples. That's another great thing, one of the best here. So for example, I want to render some 2 or 3 tracks, for example. Let's try to do it. So I will mute. Let's mute track 1. That's my kick. And I will disconnect MIDI maybe for now. Menu configuration. And MIDI clock in internal. Tempo is a little much higher. Shift and those buttons are for master volume. That's another shortcut. So let's go to song tempo 120, a little bit smaller maybe. Lower. Or let's go really fast. Okay, and I want to render something. So I will create track 7 kick. That will be kick 3. Record. That's my kick. Let's go every 8. Okay, and snare will be here maybe, or percussion. percussion, something like this, just to experiment, just to present it a little bit. That will be it, and that will be every 4. Sounds really bad, but it's not the point. I'm just trying to demonstrate something. So shift and insert. Sorry, my nose. I was sick for a few days before. And let's render it. Yes, many render sounds. No, first let's go to instrument. What I'm trying to do, instrument percussion, and pan it like -35, for example. So that's instrument 8. And let's go to instrument 3 and pan it left. And I want to render it. It's not always working. I had few attempts and didn't work for some reason, but let's see if it works this time. So I will auto name it uninterested, whatever, orange advice. So render section. For now I just render it, shift and 2, and I have it in export file. Enter detailed pocket, that's my section, and orange advice. That's my sample. Rendered, import. Import normal. And now I'm wondering why I didn't load it in stereo version. Because it should. So my instrument, orange, and let's go to, yes, we got it. So that's in stereo, only on preview shows as a mono, but we have a stereo sample. How amazing it is. So we have stereo sample rendered, and I can edit it, use granular synthesizer, for example, or wavetable on stereo sample. Position, let's change position. And we have stereo wavetable sampler or granular, which is also very good. Position. Imagine it with LFO, with panning and everything else. So that's a great stuff. And I can use it, for example, in my track now. I can delay this section and drop my sample here. That will be instrument, yes. Chaotic, I know. And you have to keep it in mind that when you transfer projects from Polyend Tracker OG to Polyend Tracker Mini, there's no issue at all because all samples are in mono. But when you transfer projects from Tracker Mini to Polyend Tracker OG and you have some stereo samples, you need to be aware just to not hard pan them right, because you won't hear them at all, or because it will convert it to mono samples anyway for you. So even if you're using stereo sample, you just have to be aware that it might sound different. Definitely will sound different because it will be converted to mono. And if you have it hard pan right, for example, it won't play at all. It will keep it as just as a mono left channel basically. So it's using left channel as in standard mixer when you're using mono, and pan knob basically works as a volume. That will be it. So let's make some maybe quick jam with those both devices. And that will be it. That will be sums up for it, I think. So let's go back to configuration, change MIDI through jack transport. But I need to get rid of this sample now. Record delayed. Okay. that will be it. Small performance at the end, little bit like groovy. Yeah, I hope that you liked it. Definitely will be more videos about it, and yeah, that will be it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.